Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit the subscribe button. There you go, right down there. If you want to be among the first to hear my weekly takes, NFL, college football, more, right there. Jared Goff went to like Marin Catholic. The team was terrible in high school. He comes in, they're excellent. He goes to Cal, they're garbage the 2 years before. He goes to Cal. They start winning games. The Rams, when he first got there, were a mess, right? The Jeff Fisher Rams. Gets McVay, hits it. Now he goes to the Lions. Bumpy year and a half, and he's got them in the NFC Championship. You know, I know when you watch Lamar and Mahomes and Josh Allen, they do feel like they've sort of separated from the world because Burrow just can't stay healthy, and he's not that dynamic of an athlete. But we got to be honest about Jared Goff. I don't care if it's high school, college, or pro. He is now taken his second team to the NFC Championship. And, you know, at first you could say it's McVay. Well, now it's Dan Campbell. And we don't consider Dan Campbell to be Sean McVay.
And the Lions.
Right. And the truth is, when I watched that game today, my big takeaway was, he's way too comfortable. When you give Jared Goff 3 beats, Amon St. Brown, Laporta. First, I think Gibbs is a sensational player. That O-line. I watched them and I'm like, okay, this feels like the Rams team. Jared's got 1001, 1002, 1003. Jared Goff's going to pick you apart. And I think people are just not quite comfortable because he's really one of the last pure pocket guys drafted, number 1. Like pure pocket. And we don't do that.
They don't really exist. They don't exist in college.
And we don't draft them number 1. We want to see all this movement. He's one of the last pocket guys. I don't know. I just watched him today, and I'm like, Jesus. Even my wife doesn't even like football, and she's like, God, that guy has got a. Today he got amped up and overthrew Laporta in the end zone. But I don't know. I'm just a bigger fan of Goff than I think the rest of football fans are.
I wrote down today. Do you think it has a chance to be one of the greatest trades in NFL history? They got 2 first-round picks and Jared Goff. Think about that. And that the second first-round pick turned into a top 5, or it was the 6th overall pick because the Rams were terrible, which they turned into Gibbs, who looks like Alvin Kamara 2.0, and Laporta. So they got their starting quarterback who makes, and he's on a contract next year, $25 million a year.
That's it.
In a day and age when every guy's making 45 to 50, he's making 25. He's already proven that he can win, and now he's winning. And they added all this other talent when they already had some ascending young players. That general manager, we talk a lot about Goff and we talk a lot about Dan Campbell, but those personnel moves, because we've seen Jared Goff, if you put the talent around him, you're going to win, right? And if you can protect him and he gets comfortable, some of those throws, his accuracy, it gets back to his personality. You know, he's kind of got the surfer, California cool. I'm not comparing him to Joe Montana, but he kind of has that easygoing feel.
Yes,
and I do think that helps him out because how many guys, a coach of Sean McVay's status, and even Sean said, I regret saying, he crushed him publicly. I mean, completely. Yeah. Something you don't really see with a guy that you had some success with. And the Lions and Dan Campbell, and this is where he deserves a lot of credit, they built him back up. I don't care who you are, especially young men need people to promote you and have support from behind you. And they gave it to him. And then they surrounded him. I mean, how much talent does that team have? Laporta, Gibbs, Montgomery, the offensive line, St. Brown.
Hutchison, Tampa left him unblocked several times today. They're more active at linebacker. No,
how about Branch, the safety? Their 2nd-round pick from Alabama is fantastic. He makes tackles left and right. This team is a corner away from being a legit Super Bowl contender next year. And honestly, like the way the Niners look, I wouldn't just count them out. Now, they historically have rattled Jared Goff because when, if you have a mobile quarterback, Jordan Love, you don't even need to be Lamar Jackson. You give him a little trouble. But when you sit in the pocket, the Cousins, the Daks, definitely Goff. I mean, historically on the Rams, they destroyed him. Now, this Niners defensive line is not playing as well as it has in years past because Chase Young is just not that good. Yeah. And Bosa, he's getting double teamed. Yeah. And the other guys are just kind of okay. Now, the rest of their defense is okay, right? Their linebackers are good. They have some good DBs. But their defensive line is nowhere near what it once was. It actually is much closer to this Lions group that has Hutchinson, a bunch of other random guys, than I think the way that it's perceived of, the Niners are the best defensive line we've ever seen. They got some names, but they are not playing like that by any means. So I think most people are going to say this Chiefs, Ravens game has a chance to be a big classic. It's like, oh, the Lions, their run's going to come to an end.
Yeah.
The Niners better pick it up a little bit because they did not look very good.